Okay, in the other video, we showed how we can get the latest COVID stats from the COVID API. It looks somewhat like this. It calls a web address URL and it will return some kind of information. And what we did was we had a script called getCovid, which printed only the information that we wanted. It looks something like this. If we were to run it right now, it will show us the date and the case, which is the new daily cases in Florida in this case. So this is not very useful unless maybe if we build this into our prompt or some kind of dashboard on our desktop. But so what we want to do right now is create our own website that displays just this, or maybe later on we can incorporate this into our website that does something else maybe. To do that, we're going to again start with our test. So let's call this my COVID report. And to get information from a website, it's pretty much the same thing as we do here with request promise native, but it turned out that this module is now deprecated, so we're not supposed to use that anymore. So we're going to use something else. We're going to use something called super agent. It requires super agent, and it only works if I install it first. So I'll do that. Super agent, still not really finding it. And I'll describe my test here. My COVID report. What should it do? It should display my report, I suppose. In this case, I want my super agent to fetch my report. So response equals, in this case, I'll do an await. So I'll have to do a sync await get, and I'll get it from localhost. So it's going to be HTTP localhost 3000, and in this case I'll just name it my COVID report. How about that? And I'll expect my response, the text part, to be like, let's say Florida 9000, and that's it. And we're gonna run it. And what's it doing? Oh, connection refused, of course, because we haven't even done anything yet. So to do something, we need to start a server, and to make it a little bit more concrete, we're gonna create our server right now. We're gonna create it right here in our main level. Let's just call it index.js. In this case, we have express equals required against. We're going to need to install that too. npm install. So Express helped us set up a server, and it allows us to listen to a port to take requests. All right, and this is how it goes. Express. So we're going to build our server, and in the end, we'll do module exports equals our, we'll call it server. I'm going to say server equals app listen at 3000. And not only that, let's just put a little bit of extra message so we know server started at port 3000. So we'll see how that's used later. But now let's try to, Let's try to run the test again. And so far nothing, because we got some error from earlier tests. As we talked about this, it's not good to have tests that would depend on the current date. But for now, let's just fix an earlier test. Earlier test had COVID. Service should give me some stats, which is this one. So today's a different day, so I should be expecting a different value. Is it 9007? Yep. Okay, so now when I run it, it will just fail on the connection refuse because we haven't done anything yet. We need to start our server. So to do that, before each test, we should define our server. In this case, our server is our index. And to be a good citizen, after each, we will close our server. All right, so now we have our server up. It's telling me I did something wrong. So, because I don't have it there. All right, there we go. And now it's just telling me we got a not found because we really haven't defined what happens in our server. So to do our server, we can just say server. Well, actually, we can say we define app. Whenever we want to get my COVID report, we should end up with a request and response. And our response should send something like Florida 9007, something like that, right? Yeah, we run our test to see, oh, we're missing a colon and we got the wrong number, but that's not what I really want anyway. I want the real thing. So I don't want to just give it fake data. How do I get a real thing? Well, that's easy. We already had our COVID service from before. Equals require COVID service. And now we just need to call stats equals COVID service get stats. And this is a promise, so stats. And I'm not doing a async away here just because it's kind of like top level. So in this case, I'll just use the regular then. And I'll send some value. In this case, I'll use the template, string template backtick, and say Florida value, I think it's called positive increase. So after I do that, did I get a nice, oh, so close. Oh, I'm expecting 9,000, which is the incorrect value. So that's easy. And not only that, I think I want to get the date too. So I'm going to look for something that looks like this. I want date and then count. So we'll add date and a count. And now we will have past tests to look at what it really does. So we're going to start the server. So we're going to say no. Now we can run index.js, which is our, and you'll see this is the message we were expecting. Started at 3,000. And now if we go to our browser to go to localhost 3000, that's not the right my COVID report, and we will see our COVID stats right there. And that is it. And we can do all kinds of stuff with this. We can make it look pretty just by adding some HTML, and we don't really need to serve up COVID, right? Express allows us to create our web server to do all kinds of fun things. But that's it. This is how we can get a custom report from the COVID API onto the web browser.